Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, Giants fan? Welcome to a special edition of the Big Blue Offensive Podcast on a Monday, because, you know, the Yankees play tomorrow night, so we can't record during the Yankees playoff game. Right, fellas? Especially after like that win yesterday, man. Let's just get right into it, man. Jules is there. John is back. So we got the full squad in the house, man. Let's roll, man. What a big win.
Huge win. I mean, look, but you know what the crazy part was, Mike? We kind of called it. You know, we were saying that, look, you can't be afraid of that game any given Sunday, right? We said that about 4 times on the pod last week. And here we are again, any given Sunday. Look, a lot of these teams, we discussed this in detail. They're like Jekyll and Hyde teams. You know, you have the Denver Broncos coming out. They're 3-0, but they literally beat teams that had a combined record of 0-9. You know, literally, you see the Saints have kind of been up and down. They look great against Green Bay. They come back and lose. Then they look great again last week. Then they come back and lose to us. So, I mean, you know, it's just been that kind of a year. And look, I know it. We're all going to say it. I know you guys are probably going to say we should be 3-1. But the reality is, if we don't jump off sides, this team is 2-2 going into Dallas. I mean, like that's literally it. Like that's something that was a mental mistake, a mental breakdown that could be taken back. They missed that field goal. We're 2-2 at the very least, right? The only other good thing to this is that I said I wanted to get 3-4 split going down to 7, right? I got one already. I would really like to get one more this week against Dallas. Mm-hmm. And then literally we have an opportunity to maybe get a 4-3 split. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Great win. I got a couple of things I gotta criticize, but I'll let you guys get your reaction in.
John? Can't hear you, John. Turn that mic on, John.
John's have a little. I think John's mic's still suffering from COVID too.
The mic caught COVID, man. Still, we can't hear you.
He's having some technical difficulties at the moment.
Yeah. Fix your mic, John, and then I'll just talk in the meantime until we get you back. Yeah, like, dude, I was like, the whole game, I'm drinking, I'm getting hammered. Like, you know, the game's not going well. You know, we're not really going that great. It's 21-10. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, why are they early in the game? Remember, they were about to score. It was like 14-7. They were going in the end zone to tie the game. And then on second a goal, they run this end around to Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you don't do that with him anymore. You got Toney there to do that kind of shit with. You know, you throw him and Barkley in the backfield, and then you could do that kind of like end around. That kind of it got me heated, man, dealing with that shit. And then the next, you know, later on in the game, you know, and I think it was overtime when Barkley fumbled, but he got the ball back. I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, I was trying to lose this game. You know, so like I was kind of pissed. Like I didn't like the way the game was going. But I tell you what, though, man, that fourth quarter came around and they rallied. The defense had made good stops. Aziz made a nice play in the backfield, stopping what's that backup quarterback?
Toney. What's his name? Right. Oh God, why am I having
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody listening, like I know it. So Taysom Hill, like he had a big stop. They stopped him. I'm like, oh my God, when he get the ball back to tie the game up? And Graham Gano, he missed that field goal earlier, but he came back and nailed it. I was proud of the way Daniel Jones played. Like when he has time, that pass protection was unbelievable yesterday. Like, you know, it was just like it was like one of their best games. I'm like, Matt Secure, like at left guard, you didn't hear anything his name all day. He played a great game. Price, he had his moments, but he still held his own. And Andrew Thomas, like the people that were saying he's a bust in the preseason, like he's been phenomenal. Like, so I tell you, man, and Daniel Jones stepping up, people are like, oh, now he's our quarterback. Listen, he had a nice drive at the end of the game. He's been playing well all year. We've been telling you his tangibles are off the charts. And he came up, he stepped up, he made some big time throws, man. The deep pass to John Ross, man, that he did fucking fumble. So it took his touchdown away from Jones, which sucks. He should have been 3 touchdowns. Come on, man. You got to give it to him. But I tell you, he made throw after throw. Jules, like, he's our guy, man. He's our guy.
I told you when I saw that game against Denver, and I saw his pocket presence, and I saw the way he was like feeling the pocket, stepping in there, trusting within it, right? You saw a different quarterback, right? And let's keep in mind, all the knocks on this guy for his turnovers. I think he has 2 interceptions in the last 10 games. And that's counting that BS throw at the end, at halftime just to throw it up. Like, all right, you know what I mean? You take that away. The guy has 1 interception in the last 10 games, dating back to last year.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's just ridiculous right there, and that's just something that gets overlooked. No one's realizing that this guy is stepping up and he's actually playing phenomenal. He's our current, month into the season MVP for the offense, in my opinion. Yes, it goes a lot better when Saquon's there, and obviously the healthier he's gotten, the better the offense looks. And you know what? I have to start putting down the milk carton because we found Kadarius Toney this week. I just hope that this isn't just some mirage, and that when we get healthy again with the receivers, that this guy doesn't somehow fall off the depth chart again. But if not, as of today, with everybody injured, he's our wide receiver 2. And definitely when Shepard gets back, he's the wide receiver 3. I would be shocked if after his performance on Sunday, we all of a sudden go back to this, Slayton and all these guys. I mean, look, you see what happens when you have a receiver that can actually catch that deep pass in John Ross. Right. Now all of a sudden it opens up the game, and that's what Slayton was supposed to have been. He's not. I hate to say it.
Jules, do you put like Ross like ahead of Slayton now as number 4?
That's close. That's where it's going to be close right now. We'll see what they do in the next week.
I think you have Dallas.
It's getting to that point where Slayton might be the odd man out, buried on the depth chart, because we got no use for him. The guy can't catch the ball. He doesn't run routes good. He doesn't stay healthy. It's like, what are we putting him in the lineup for, man? Look, we got this kid. We drafted him. We talked a lot of smack. I know I did. I didn't know what was going on with him. He was nowhere to be found. He had a horrible preseason, if that at all. And the dude was like buried on the chart. And all of a sudden, I said it going into this week that this has to be his game. He's got to come out. He's got to shine a little bit. Tony's got to wake up. If we don't use him, something's wrong. And sure enough, we did. And the kid's got moves, man. You saw a couple of those plays. He was extending plays with some of these moves. I mean, this kid's talented, man.
Tyreek Hill 2.0, baby. I'm saying it. I'm saying it, man. He's got quickness, man. Like, to make people miss the way he was doing. Like, remember that it was like 3rd and 9, and he made like 5 people miss to get that first down to keep that drive going. I was like, whoa. I'm like, what do we have here? I'm like, I think Kenny Golladay was right, man. He's like, give us some time. Give us a little bit of time. Like, he knew before week 1, they needed that kind of like put in like more work together, especially with the injuries and stuff. And I tell you, man, they're coming around because, wide receivers were just getting open, man. They were getting open. It was nice to see a quarterback of ours stand behind in the pocket and be able to like sit back there for a minute and be able to throw the ball. Like, it's been a while,
Seriously.
I thought offensive line was supposed to be our weakness. They played great.
They did. I got to give. I mean, look, could the run blocking be better? Sure. We're still not getting the yards that we need. They're not creating holes like we would hope for Barkley and for any of the running backs. So that's the only knock, if you would, that I would have to put on them. Outside of the fact that they were great. This is supposed to be one of the better defenses in the Saints. And, that Giants offense looked good against them. They didn't look great. They weren't, fantastic. They weren't running up and down the field, but they still look good. They moved the ball. I think they, Judge is a little too conservative at times. I believe it was either at the end of the second quarter or the third quarter where they had that 4th and 1, and that's when Gano ended up missing the field goal. Right, that was in the second quarter, right? If I'm not mistaken, Mike.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, you got to go for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's deep enough into the Saints territory. You're on the road. You got to go for that. I mean, kicking these field goals and always never going for on 4th and 1. Like, give the confidence to this offensive team. This offense, believe it or not, is carrying the Giants currently because to me, the defense can never get a stop when you need them to. They'll get a stop here and there. They'll look good for 3 quarters, but when you need that key stop, they still don't get it. We still gave up the field goal to tie. We were winning that game. We almost gave that game away. Thankfully, you know what? They made such a joke about Peppers jumping up and down because we won the toss and we were getting the ball. I think he was happy that the defense didn't have to get on the fucking field, right?
Don't be hating.
Like, that's why he was jumping up and down. He's like, oh, hell yeah, it's not going to be on me this week.
That's crazy, man. I thought the defense made some, like, key stops when they had to. Like I said, like with Aziz and stuff, I thought they showed something, man. John, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you, man.
Oh my God. I guess it's not meant for me to be in this podcast this week. My internet's like locking me out, and I'm going in, changing the settings, and it's still saying, fuck you, John. So we
COVID,
circumvent. Yeah, I guess.
That COVID shit. Your phone got
locking me down.
COVID.
Oh, my God.
Well, we got you on. At least we can hear you.
Yeah. So, guys, I mean, I'm listening to what you guys are saying, and you're 100% right. The one thing that was just annoying is, the first, like you said, Jules, the first few quarters of the game, like first, 2.5, 3 quarters, especially, the sandwich between halftime, letting up the touchdown again, coming back out, letting up the other touch, and then you just knew, like I said it to my fiance, I was like, we're going to be down 14-7 before you know it. And then 20 minutes later, real time, and back, we're down 14-7. But like I was saying on Twitter, and anybody who follows me, Daniel Jones is my profile pic since I started that fucking account, and it's not going to change. That motherfucker's got it. He's the man. And you know what? It sucks that we're 1-3. It sucks that, we jumped off sides week 2. It sucks that we couldn't get our shit together week 3 and beat the Broncos when we should have. But you know what? It's football. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. And as Giants fans, we're very used to that ball bouncing away from us. But you know what? It's a good step in the right direction. You had a lot of the players step up and contribute. Saquon, 120 something yards all told. Toney, using like the milk carton, he was all over the place. I think the refs liked him so much they gave him a free yard on that 3rd and 18.
They sure did.
I watched it again. I was like, bro, he fell like 2 yards before the first down, and all of a sudden it's the first down again.
I said it, John. I was like, I'm not that drunk. I'm like, that had to.
I thought I was. I ain't gonna lie, right?
I'm like, I was like,
wait, what the hell just happened?
Did Fox mess up the third down line or whatever? I was like, but I tell you, right? Like I know John's gonna love this. Like all Gettleman's draft picks performed yesterday and won them the game. So all you Gettleman haters, like, I think I tweeted out on the Big Blue Offensive podcast. I'm like, there were members of the media that laughed at the Giants for taking Daniel Jones at number 6, Mina Kimes, Golick Jr. We remember you laughed like idiots. Then, we got the so-called Giant fans that called him a bust. The same fans that they wanted Louis Riddick, and Louis Riddick would have drafted, waste of Haskins, So, once again, thank you, Dave Gettleman. Funny how week changes the whole narrative around Giants Twitter, right? Everything's so great again. Like, we've been telling you this. We've been telling you he's a good quarterback. We've been telling you Andrew Thomas is good. Just fucking listen to us.
No, listen, Andrew Thomas. Can I just make this point really quick, guys? I mean, last year we spent the entirety of the year of how much of a bust, how bad Andrew Thomas is, how could you pick him over the Tristan Wirfs and, Jedrick Wills and all these guys. And you know what? For a little while, maybe it was justified, but you know what? People said he was playing hurt, and you know what? You had that preseason game that Zach Rosenblatt said that he was a little bit sick for that preseason game, and the narrative just out of control. Offensive line, and you know what, dude? He's got like the highest rated offensive line grade, pass blocking grade of any second-year offensive lineman. He hasn't let up a sack. He's been playing excellent, and he hasn't been playing scrubs. He's played against Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Cam Jordan. He's played against some really, really high-end talent, and he's done the fucking job. He's done the job, and it's nice to have a real left tackle, a real deal 23-year-old left tackle to grow with Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and the rest of the guys.
Did you guys?
We saying, Mike?
Yeah. Did you guys see the the after the game when Daniel Jones and Andrew Thomas were running the huddle celebrating? You could see like the pure joy on their faces, man. It was a sight to see, man. I'm so happy for them, the way they played, the way they came back, the way they played together. And I tell you, man, that's this kind of win to come back like that in the fourth quarter on the road. And don't mind it in New Orleans, where they went back into the stadium after another freaking hurricane, after their roof caught on fire for some crazy reason. So, the fans were all hyped up to go back in there, and they went on the road and did that to them. I tell you, man, this
30 years.
Yeah, that's insane. Football's about momentum. This is going to propel them, I think. We'll see.
I mean, Dallas is going to be key. Dallas is definitely key, because you can't listen. They're a good team, but they're also a beatable team, and we can't go into Dallas and lay an egg. If we have another fight like we did against Washington, and they put it up and they lose by a last second field goal, which I hope isn't the case, because it's been heartbreaking all season to keep losing like that. But if they do, that's good momentum. They just can't go in there and get waxed like the Eagles did, where they were pretty much never in that game, right? They need to be right back and forth with this Dallas team. They got the defense plays on paper the way they should. We could contain that Dallas offense, and their defense, although has gotten better from last year to this year, still ain't that good. And if we can put up points like we did against the Saints, we should definitely be able to move the ball against the Cowboys, man. Like, and that's the win I want more than anything. When you get that win, all of a sudden you have 2 in a row. You got the Rams on deck. You never know what can happen in that game. Look, the Rams they just lost to Arizona this past, yesterday. So you never know. Man. We've been preaching about any given Sunday. So any one of those games could be won. But we get this second one, and we literally pick up 2 right away. And all I was asking was for a 3-4 split the entire time over the 7. Shit. We only need 1 more over the next 5. So there's a good chance we could get 2. But that's why I think it really starts with Dallas, and that's going to be a key game for them, I think.
If Daniel Jones plays the way he's been playing, like if he carries that fourth quarter onto him and plays like that in every quarter of the game or close to it, I mean, he's legit could carry an offense like that with the weapons we have and with John Ross and everybody back there. It's going to be something special to see.
How nice is it, man, to watch our offense and it resemble an NFL offense? Passes downfield, playmakers, making guys miss, making plays. Kenny Golladay, big boy and motherfuckers out there. Kadarius Toney, he looks like a reincarnate of fucking a Madden player, literally online, just back juking motherfuckers. Just the competency in this team yesterday was so much fun to watch, man, because you sit there a lot of times, man, you just watch them and there's no run after catch, there's no yak yards, there's no it's a catch and that's it. And then they're down, they're tackled maybe a yard or 2 before whatever the nonsense is. It was just nice to sit back and actually watch for a quarter and a half or whatever ended up being a competent NFL offense that wasn't limited by the play callers. Because listen, it's not Daniel Jones. And the playmakers can play. So it's not them either. So there's only one place to fucking point the finger anymore. And we've been saying it since last year. Here and there, he's had spots. But Jason Garrett finally said, you know what? We're going to go down swinging. And they fucking didn't go down. They swung and they fucking connected. And, dude, listen. We haven't won a game in New Orleans in 28 years. I'm 34 years old. Means I was still fucking trying to figure out what a boner was at fucking 6 years old. And that's the last time we won a fucking game in New Orleans. And we were down by 11 points in the fourth quarter. And in 3 consecutive drives, he's able to put the touchdown on the board, get the game time field goal to send them to overtime, and then go ahead and win and lead a game winning overtime drive. It was nice to sit there and actually clap, but not sarcastically, and really fucking enjoy being a Giants fan.
When I discovered a boner, it was one of the happiest days of my life. I have to just get that out there. And probably yesterday was one of the best days of my life. I tell you, man, do you guys remember last week over Twitter when people were arguing about the Giants, they didn't have any talent? And I'm like, how could you come out with some kind of narrative like that? You don't tell this team is completely different than 4 years ago, the amount of talent and young talent, I should say, that they brought in with the draft and the free agents. I'm like, how could that come out of somebody's mouth, that thinking, and that you had fucking beat writers and shit kind of agreeing with them? I'm like, what are these people, morons? Some days, man, it makes no sense, man, going through these and reading these stupid things that people say.
It's true though, man. Look, how many people were saying too after the third game that we should just tank the rest of the season and just get a top pick? I mean, dude, it's you got an extended season where there's 14 games remaining, and you're like, let's take the next 14. I mean, it's just ridiculous, people just they make no sense at times. They get caught up in a moment, they get too emotional. Giants fan base is definitely an emotional fan base. There's no question about it. Everybody's high-fiving each other on Victory Monday this week. And meanwhile, less than a week ago, people were ready to friggin' tank the season. So, it's ridiculous. Like I said, the only thing that really just stuck with me is damn, bro, you could talk about how we could be 3-1. We could make a case for it. But technically, we don't jump all sides. We're 2-2. You know what I mean? And damn, bro, that just
simplest thing.
You know,
and he didn't jump off sides. Let's not lose sight of the fact that he didn't fucking jump off sides.
Refs gave him that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts.
Vegas, bro. Vegas.
And who's to say that the Giants come out as flat as they did in week 3 against Atlanta if they had that win and they were coming off of a win, right? They might actually just come off with even more momentum and then all of a sudden we go in. But we were supposed to lose to the Saints. That was a 50-50 there. Look, if we could beat one of these teams down this 7-game stretch, like Rams team or Carolina, I think is beatable. Vegas probably, we'll see what they do tonight, but they're another team that I'm not buying their record. You know, so there's some games there that these Giants can pull out one of those games, or maybe 2 of those games. All of a sudden, you know, now we're at that 4-3 split, maybe even 5-2. That's a little crazy. I don't know if we'll do that, but I think it all starts with Dallas, man. Look, that's not going to be an easy walk in the park. That's going to be a tough match. You know, like, look, when was the last, you know, we're talking about all this, you know, last time they did this. Listen, when was the last time we won in Dallas? Does anybody know off the top of your head? I didn't look it up, but
2016.
Which one?
2016. 2016 when we swept them. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, look, guys, we haven't won in 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big game for us. Yes, we should have won last year. We got tanked by the refs. We all know that. 2 touchdowns pulled back off the board on some nonsense. But
and a freebie for them.
They're healthy. CeeDee Lamb's the real deal. Zeke looks like he's back now. Looked like he was, a little rusty in the beginning of the season. Now he's running wild again. Tony Pollard's a damn good filling backup for them. I mean, we got our hands full. And that's what worries me because this defense has not executed when they needed to. Everybody talks about a pass rush. But then I see that our leading sacker, guys leading the team in sacks with 3, and Ojulari wasn't even out in the initial starting defense. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I know.
You literally drafted this kid in the 2nd round to be your edge rusher. He's been nothing but stepping up and making plays when need to. You praise him about his run defense, and then on the opening drive, he's not starting. Yo, I don't understand that, dude. I mean, granted, they got him in pretty quickly. I think like in the next series or like the second set of downs, he was in. But prior to that, you had the guy on the sideline. That just makes 0 sense to me. And then people want to complain about a pass rush. So I don't know whose fault this is, and I don't want to keep pointing the finger at Pat Graham, but I think we've been giving him a lot of a break where, like, this guy just doesn't get this defense to come up with any kind of big stops. They just don't. It's just he doesn't blitz. He's too, he likes to rush 3 guys and then drop back the rest of the team. Dude, like, if you're only rushing 3 guys on 5, chances are you're not going to get that much of a pass rush. I mean, that's just the reality there. And yet that's what we see week in and week out. And we saw it again this past Sunday. And that's going to be an issue, especially when you go against these better offensive teams like the Cowboys are.
I don't know about if people are getting so ticked off at like Joe Judge or Garrett or Coach Graham. Like, are you guys really like pissed at him the way he's calling the game? Are you pissed the way he's not starting people, subbing people, their game plan, being conservative? Because I was reading some stuff like some jackass on Twitter wrote, he was bashing like Joe Judge, saying the players won in spite of him, in spite of the coach. Meanwhile, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, haven't the Giants been in every single game except one since Joe Judge has been here? The only game we got like blown out was San Fran last year. But other than that, no matter what.
Arizona.
Not really. We were kind of in that game for a little bit, to the end or whatever. I'm saying we was there. Like, it wasn't just a shit show from the beginning. Like, they played hard, they played well, and you know what I mean? So I don't get the narrative going around like knocking Joe Judge. I think that's moronic. I mean, obviously the players play so hard for him, to really like go after him about that kind of shit I think it's wasteful.
I think the real thing with Judge is that he's too conservative, and he shows it. Look, man, he coaches the game very conservatively, and at times that could then be perceived as playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And that's where it's an issue. Like I said, it's the second quarter. You're down the field. You set up for that field goal. It's 4th and 1. Go for it. There was a couple of times against Atlanta where he could have done it. There was times against Washington. It's like, once in a while, you got to go for it on 4th down. Belichick goes for it on 4th down. McVay goes for it on 4th down. All these coaches that win, Andy Reid goes for it on 4th down. These guys that win have been in the Super Bowl. They go for it on 4th down. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I know I had been drinking a lot, so when Sunday night's game rolled around, I don't remember everything from it. But I'm pretty sure Arenas went for it on 4th down against Belichick, right, last night. So, I mean, like, you got to go for it, man. That's a difference between winning a game or pushing to get it. And if your defense is supposed to be as good as our defense is supposed to be, then you should be able to trust that defense can hold them from a score if you give them decent starting field position. And we don't do that. And that's what's annoying. So there is a lot of that concern with his conservativeness that is starting to be exposed. Now, look, he is a brand new head coach, right? And a lot of that could just be rookie type mistakes. And they are getting exploited a little bit this year. And that's the only knock that I really find on Judge to this point in his career.
I think that because he came out with such boldness, this punch in the nose for 60 minutes, all that shit, I think that people were expecting to really like madden people and just step on their throats and run up scores and go for it whenever and it hasn't played out that way. And I think when an offense, and the same kind of thing applies in baseball, when an offense isn't scoring, they look very flat, they look very lifeless, they don't look like they're into it. And I think that's something that people just pin right on the coaching staff. And I don't honestly blame people, because I felt yesterday for the majority of that game that I was like, where is this 60 minutes to punch you in the nose? Where is this? We're gonna do this. It just wasn't there. And then finally, I don't know. Supposedly Saquon gave some kind of impassioned halftime speech, and that's what got people going. And they came out and they fucking gave up a touchdown. So I guess they didn't work too well. But I think that's where that comes from, because I think people wanted to really kind of see aggression. They wanted to see, them use these playmakers. They want to see throwing the ball downfield and shit. And there was a lot of not a lot of that. You don't see a lot of like crazy blitzes. You see them, just rushing 4, rushing 3, rushing 4. You don't really see all out engage. You don't see any of that stuff. And I think that kind of doesn't go with the MO that, Joe Judge set forth in his introductory press conference, and just the narrative that he's maintained in the year and a half he's been the head coach of the Giants. But at the end of the day, like, what'd you say, Mike?
Maybe Joe Judge don't, like as far as him going for it on 4th and 1, maybe he don't want to put the defense in that bad position either. Like, you know what I mean? He don't want to throw them down the well. So you got to look at it that way too.
I know, but I just feel like if I was on the offense, I would feel a little bit like, you don't believe in us to get, 1 or 2 yards. I don't know. I feel like it would bother me a little bit, not taking those risks. When honestly, man, in the NFL, there's teams are very, very, very close. Like I said a few weeks ago, there's a couple of really good teams, a couple of really bad teams, and 25, 28 mediocre teams, and a player or two decides it. And a lot of times it's that 4th down going for it or not getting it, that 4th down going for it and getting it, continuing drive that gets you that 7 points, that fires up your team. Like that's what makes seasons. And when you routinely see a coach not going for it, it kind of takes some wind out of your sails, both as a fan and maybe as a player. But at the end of the day, they won the game. The beacons of the team, Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, Saquon Barkley, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, they looked great. And you know what? Maybe at times you take your foot off the gas and that's how you win the race. I don't know. But I can see why some people are a little bit upset with Joe Judge, the last few weeks. I was definitely one of them. But like Mike, like you said, they're playing hard for the guy. We haven't been blown out. We've been in every game. We lost 2 games out of 3 on a last-second field goal. So let's fucking go. Let's fucking see what happens in Dallas this week.
I mean, what are your thoughts on Dallas now? Like I mentioned before, and I said throughout the show, right? I know they got a good offense. Their defense is better. Setting aside any nonsense calls from the refs, because I feel like they always give us the business whenever we're out in Dallas.
Oh, boy.
This is a big game. I mean, but the cool thing is that I think the pressure is truly on Dallas, right? We're the 1-3 team coming in. They're 3-1 sitting on top of the division. They got Dak back. They're healthy. That offense is firing. They went out and spent their entire draft on defense. So, like, the pressure's on them. They're at home. That's a game they can't lose, right? And if we go in with that kind of mentality where we just kind of play like we got nothing to lose, I can see the Giants going in there and stealing this win very easily. And I'm not saying that as a homer.
I think that this game could be one of those games that is like a 38-35 type of a shootout game. Mm-hmm. Dallas offense, unfortunately, is fucking good. Dak's playing good. their defense hasn't been as bad as we would have hoped that it to be, but our offense is kind of rounding into form. And I believe in Patrick Graham. I do. I believe in Patrick Graham. I believe that if we could fucking just hold the ball maybe going into the half and just not give the team an opportunity for a free 7 points like we've done in 4 consecutive weeks, that could be a really big point in the game. Daniel Jones versus Dak Prescott, Dakota, fucking asshole, stupid name that he's got.
Dakota.
I don't know, man. I don't want to say we're gonna go 1-4. I also don't want to say we're gonna win fucking 42-7. I think it could be one of those games that there's gonna be moments you're gonna be pulling your hair out. There's gonna be moments that you're gonna be fucking are gonna be gut wrenching. And we all know this, man. Jerry Jones right now has got the ink isn't dry on the checks. Those refs will in that ref locker room. They're gonna have fucking checks in their locker.
No doubt.
And there's gonna be calls. They're going to go against our team, and we're up against the 55 guys in a Dallas uniform, their head coaches, and the Zebras. And it's going to take every single one of our guys to play and not make mistakes, to play with their fucking backs against the wall, like Saquon said in his speech, and go in there and do exactly what Eli did when they opened up that stadium. Put a fucking signature win on the board, sign your name, and walk out of there with a fucking W.
Dallas offense is loaded, man. Like I'm nervous about that offense. I know we could score. I'm just hoping we could score earlier in the game and not have to wait to the fourth quarter to try to come back, because Dallas offense is too loaded and they're going to get their points. There's no doubt about it. Like, I'm hoping our defense steps up and plays well, but I mean, you really can't count on them to really get to Dak a lot. Dak's going to make plays. He's having a good year. I mean, it's tough. CeeDee Lamb and Cooper and Ezekiel, and like they're loaded guys. So their offensive line is playing good, even with Collins being out. So it's going to be a great game. I think John's right. I think it's going to be probably like 30 point scoring on both teams. I'm hoping it ain't. I'm hoping the Cowboys don't get there, but we're going to need to score points, and we're going to need to score right away. We're going to have to keep up with Dallas. I think it's going to be. I think it could turn into a shootout.
Or this could be the game where the defense finally wakes up. I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like just a couple of key stops is all I'm asking for. I mean, look, it's crazy because the Saints threw up 21 points on us, and we're almost like hanging our hat and being like, wow, that's great. No, you only scored 21 points on us. Like, oh, all right, cool. And that's, that's not good. Like we need a team where we can hold the team down to like 10 points, so that the offense doesn't always have to score 20-something points just to try to be in the game. Like, it's getting ridiculous at that point. If this offense doesn't score at least 20 points, we got no shot of winning. And that's not cool, man. And that falls on the defense. So it's a big test for them, man. All the stuff we've been pointing out, all the 3-4 man rushes, which has never work. You're not going to confuse that. Now with like guys like CeeDee Lamb and Cooper that can get open. And even their tight end Schultz, who we didn't mention, is having a good year. He's off to a good start too again. So I mean, like, dude, like, this is where the defense is going to have to step up. I think we could, and I think that we can get out of Dallas with a W, because this is the one you want to win. Because if you lose this one, then you're kind of like almost in a pressure situation. Then they have to beat the Rams, which I think are a little bit better of a football team. So I would much rather try to get my win with the Cowboys, and I think that's where hopefully that's what we'll get. Mike, do you know what the spread is on that?
Right now, I think it opened up like, let me check the site. I remember seeing like 7.
Okay.
Or 7.5.
Yeah, I was getting 7 points on us.
Yeah, I think they're favored by a touchdown, because they've been scoring a lot, man. It's tough. Maybe we just need a little bit of luck. Maybe we should just have Jabril Peppers go out there and for the coin toss every single game. He was really great. I know you mentioned it before, Jules. Like, he was like, boom, we want that ball. Fuck him, man. Like, I'm like, yo, dude. I'm like, I was like,
we want that motherfucker.
I was hyped up.
He said, boom, we want that motherfucker. Bro, I was hyped when I heard that shit, bro. I love Jabril Peppers. I know he hasn't played like he played last year, but I fucking love that guy, man. I really do. I think he's awesome.
We'll see. I mean, like I said, like, if Schultz and like these other guys start lighting us up next week because he can't cover them, that's an issue, right? Yeah. You know how I've been feeling about Peppers.
I know.
He's a spark plug because he does things like he did on the coin toss. He does come up with big plays, but overall his performance isn't that great. He's not an elite safety. He's just not. and he gets exposed out there, man. You see that all the time. I mean, look, with our corners and the way that the Saints receivers have been so depleted, they shouldn't have been able to throw the ball at all against us. I mean, that's a reality there. These receivers that were working against the Giants aren't quality receivers. No Mike Thomas. They don't have it. Yes, Alvin Kamara is a stud. We know that. But at the end of the day, seeing that these other receivers like having like games against us, I mean, that you can't have that and call yourself a good defense.
I'm just hoping like if our wide receivers get healthy or whatever, like I just want more Toney involved in the game plan because he also had a nice play. Guys, do you remember like in the game, he went for like an end around himself for like a halfback pass almost, wide receiver pass, and he held on to the ball. Yeah, he held on to the ball. He's like, I don't want to make a mistake there. So he played it smart. He didn't enforce anything. And he ran around the other side, got 1 yard or whatever. But I just thought it was smart by him for not making the play. Then when we've seen in the game with Taysom Hill do the same thing, he went out, but he was just acting like a regular quarterback. But he threw a chance on a deep ball. And, that's when Bradbury made that pick. So that's like the difference right there. So like, I want to see this kid. I mean, let me just tell him Tyreek Hill 2.0. I want to see Tyreek Hill 2.0 play more. Let's get him more in the offense. Shit.
I mean, at this point, John.
I was gonna say, I think they've worked him more and more into the offense, and I think it's time now where he gets one of those real big, 40, 50, 60-yard touchdowns, make a couple guys miss, and get his first real Giants highlight. To put on his fucking resume. I think that could happen this week. The kid's electric, man. His body control is bananas.
He was the most targeted receiver on our team yesterday. So I mean, they were working it. Yeah, he was the most targeted. Galladay really made his targets efficient because he was 7. He had 7 targets with 6 catches for 116. So he was extremely efficient. But no, man, Toney led the team with 9 targets. So I mean, it's there. I just don't want to see this week in Dallas that all of a sudden it goes back to like 3 targets or something like that. The kids showed it. We drafted him in the first round for a reason. Shepard's hurt. Slayton's hurt. Like, this is the time this kid's got to step up. This is what we need to see. We need to see what we saw against the Saints. We need to see that again this week again in Dallas. And that's just the reality.
I will say this. Jason Garrett, as maligned as he's been and how annoying he's been here and there, last year, both games against Dallas, he called 2 very good games. In the one game, we scored over 30 and we should have had over 40 if not for 2 real deal fucking Vegas calls from the referees there, the little aides there. And then in the final game of the season, the offense played very, very well, and we took that W handily. So I think he's in a good position to continue that success. And I don't know what the situation is with Shep and Slayton. And Slayton's been he's been tough to watch, with a couple of these drop passes, especially that one drop pass he had a couple of weeks back. But seeing Toney emerge in his stead, it's been fun to watch, and I think that it could continue. It can continue next week against Dallas. I think so.
So I'm already just going to go out on a ledge here and just basically say that I guess all 3 of us, when we're going for our pick 'em part of this program, we're all going to be in on the Giants this week. I guess that's what we're saying.
I mean,
we're a Giants fucking podcast. We were supposed to be like a real positive Giants podcast. We can't pick against we can't, and especially not against the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, every week I'm gonna just the cat's out the box. I'm gonna take the Giants every week. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't give a
Listen, if you guys want to cut it down the middle and say that we got to pick at least one game that we don't pick the Giants in, I'll give you guys, and I'll put it in now, against the Chiefs on Monday night. We probably won't be picking the Giants. Other than that, though, this is a fucking Giants podcast. We're picking the goddamn Giants.
Listen, I'll give them one shout out since we're having a positive day, because I know people like to bash Garrett and Judge for being conservative, but I want to shout out, who's our offensive line coach? Robert Sale?
Yes.
Right?
Robert Sale, flats for the MVP of the season so far.
Dude, I thought our offensive line was going to be so horrific. People were blaming Gettleman for not, drafting somebody in the draft. And, thank God we got Toney instead of Slater. I think I'm really happy about that now. But I tell you what, though, man, the line's been playing great, and that's well coaching. And I tell you what, some of these guys were like thrown off of other teams because they sucked, but we found a way to make it work, and it's working now. So let's go, man. Sky's the limit, man. Shout out
Listen,
to
you're right though. Hats off to Robert Sale, because look, I don't know any other team that literally had their fourth different starting left guard to start a season. We've had 4 different guys start at left guard so far in 4 games. I mean, that's incredible. Just to think about that. And you know what? They held their own for the most part, you know, and especially after yesterday's performance, we might be onto something, man. And that all starts with him. And you know, hats off to Coach Sale. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. That, especially the way this season has been started and unfolding. I think that this is a key. Like, you know, he deserves a little more credit than he gets.
I definitely saw this week a lot of people praising him because it's about time, man. We're used to, for the last almost decade, just routinely guys getting 3, 4, 5, 6 sacks against the Giants, and Daniel Jones has had clean pockets almost the entire season. Sure, he hasn't gotten 0 sacks on the season. Obviously, he's been hurried and rushed and stuff like that. But for the most part, for this kind of just scrap together offensive line in the interior, you know, losing Gates, losing Lemieux, and not having Zeitler and stuff like that, they've played very well as far as pass blocking is concerned. And just looking at Saquon's numbers and looking at how he's playing, their run blocking is starting to come along too. If that can continue to be what is at this point, and you can be considered a strength, sky's the limit for this team, man. Sky's the fucking limit for this offense.
The key's going to be that we beat Dallas. We started with Dallas. You win 2 games in a row. You can start like automatically saying he should be a winning record team or have a winning record as a team. You know, so that's where it starts. It's going to start there, because we go into Dallas and we lay an egg. Then this week was all for nothing. You know what I mean? We literally just got our number against the Saints, and that was it. So we'll see, man. And it's a winnable game. It's a division game. You know, as we mentioned, they haven't won since 2016 in Dallas. So, you know, there's a lot going on in this game, man. I want to get this W this Sunday. That would make this one even sweeter.
Yeah, it validates it. It's not like a fluke. Oh, you know, they just, you know, the Saints didn't come out to play hard, and you know, it's just a trap game, as they say. You go out there, you go into Dallas, you beat a 3-1 Dallas team. It vindicates your Week 4 win. You obviously get the Week 5 win, and then people do start turning around and looking at Week 2 against the Redskins and saying, "Oh, maybe that was a little bullshit with that flag against Dexter Lawrence. Maybe, you know, week 3, you know, one play here or there that could have been this, and you know, maybe the Giants are for real." So you're absolutely right, Jules. You know, our season comes down to Week 5 for all intents and purposes. And I really, in my heart of hearts, don't think that it's going to be a game where we're going to get blown out and we're going to be disgusted. I think it's going to be an edge of your seat, up and down, all, you know, coming down to inside 2 minutes type of a game. And I fucking hope that the Giants win, man. I fucking hope.
I hope it's not like that kind of game, because it was like that game in the fourth quarter yesterday, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was going to have my first heart attack. I was getting up and down from the seat. My head was fucking dizzy. I was like, I need another drink. It's calming me down. But man, what an exciting game, man. The Giants, like, I don't know if you were listening to the podcast last week, John, when you were out sick, but I said the Giants were like in every game, they had one play that could have won them the game. So they could be 4-0. So like, people should be excited about this team. I don't care about this brutal schedule that we have coming along. We're going to have to play good teams anyway, and playing good teams is going to make this team better. You can't just play crap teams and then you have a letdown. So I'm excited for it, man. Bring it on, man. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. That's for sure, man. And I think that leads us into our new favorite part of the show, where we do the picks. Because Mike, do they have the standings up for Week 3 so far?
Yeah. Should we take a quick commercial break?
We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back with the standings and the picks.
Yep. Absolutely.
It is Big Blue Offensive Podcast.
We'll be right back. All right, we are back with the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. I'm Mike. That's Jules. That's John. It's time for the picks, guys. It's time. Me and Jules had to do the picks by ourselves without John last week. John was out, and me and Jules kind of we took it on the chin, Jules. We did not have that great of a week. So yeah, we can't decide. We can't bet together anymore. We definitely need a third person, you know.
We
But
realized when we start agreeing too much that that's probably not a good thing in the gambling area.
you should have just bet the opposite of us. You would have won. You would have won a lot of money last week. But I tell you, we dropped down. We're now tied for 4th place with a couple guys. We're tied for King Glue 3, John the Boar, MFT, and T-Bone, all at 40 points. And then, T-Bone has 45. Then Woody has 46, and then Rob took over 1st place at 47 points. So we're 7 points down, fellas. So we need to step up this week.
We gotta step it up. I gotta make up for my efforts. I feel like this past week was a bad week for picks. I don't know. I told you week 4 was a tricky one. Week 4 and 5 is when Vegas makes their money back. It happens every year. Mark my words.
Well, look, you had the 2 biggest upsets. If you bet the money line on the Jets and Giants parlay, you could have took home quite a bit of cash. But anyway, let's start these picks, man. The first game is this Thursday night. We got a division game. Seahawks are at home against the Rams. The Rams are favored by 2 points. Jules, who do you like?
Oh, God, I mean, listen, I was flying high on the Rams. I thought that they were going to be a Super Bowl contending team, and then they go and get beat by Arizona. So you just never know, right? I think the Rams bounce back. I think it might have just been a little bit of a letdown game, having to play Tampa and then going to play Arizona and, division, and Arizona's been flying high so far this year. I just think it was a letdown for the Rams. So you say the Rams are laying 2 at home against Seattle?
Yep.
Yeah, give me the Rams -2.
I actually like, John, you don't even have to go. I like the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Rams myself, so don't worry about it. And it's one of those things where we need the Rams to win. That way, maybe they're not going to be as hungry going up against us in the following week. So let them get their W in week 5. Week 5.
That could be a money ball pick. Just saying. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
All right. So the next game, now it's on to Sundays. And looks like we got those games that are going on in other parts of the world. I think in London.
All right.
So we got at 9:30 a.m. So get up, get early, start drinking it at least by 8:30. The Falcons and the Jets play. The Kegs and Eggs. The Falcons are at home. They're -3.5 against the New York Football Jets.
Oh God, this is just an ugly, horrible game.
I know.
There's really nothing good about this game. I know I could say the same about the Giants when we played Atlanta, but dude, I think that the Jets just walked into like a treasure trove when they beat the Titans this past week. They're not that good. They're obviously not that bad. But also, let's not forget that Julio Jones and A.J. Brown weren't playing for the Titans in this game. So, I mean, that definitely affected their offense. I'm not buying it. Atlanta's been better than they looked. I mean, they had Washington on the ropes for a little bit, and then Washington pulled away in the 4th quarter. I'll go Falcons here, -3.5. What did you say, 3 or 3.5?
3.5.
All right, I'll lay the points.
I agree with you. I think the Falcons can take this game. They were close to beating Washington last week. Should have maybe beat them. I don't know. They're the Jets. They're the Jets.
I know.
You always think about the Jets.
I kind of agree with you guys. I see, go with the Falcons. That I just don't want to use that as a money ball pick because anytime I bet the Falcons, no matter what, if I take them, if I bet against them, they always seem to screw me. It doesn't matter. Even in playing the Giants this year, they screwed us. They always just do something fucked up. So I almost want to take the Jets just out of spite. But yeah, I'll take Atlanta with you. All right. So the next game, the Titans are -4 in Jacksonville. Speaking of the shitty Titans, do they get their wide receivers back? I mean, that's going to determine everything.
That really is the determining factor, right? Because if they at least just have AJ Brown or Julio, just have one of them healthy, right? I still think they beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars are hungry. I know that, but I can't see the Titans losing back-to-back games against 2 bad teams. You know what I mean? That's just a little too much. Obviously, of course, I'm saying this in good faith that they're healthy or someone gets back. With that said, I'll take the Titans at -4.
Yeah, I kind of have to take the Titans as well. Plus, even though I kind of want to see Jacksonville win because I want to see these shit teams winning. So, when the Bears suck, the Bears, they get a 1st-round pick that goes to us. So I kind of want to see Jacksonville win. I know they're going to probably go something stupid like 0-17 with Trevor Lawrence, but I guess the Titans. John, if you agree with the Titans, that could be a money ball pick.
I think the Titans too, man.
Yeah.
So if you were paying attention to the show, we have been in agreement with all three of our picks to start, which means you should probably go the opposite way. So it's probably the Jags, the Jets.
I was just thinking that.
Seattle.
I was like, yeah, we're bad right now, man. This is not good. All right.
So just so you know, all right, guys, we always keep the score at home.
All right. The next game is the Carolina Panthers. They're -4 against the Eagles.
Oh,
I know, man. I know.
God, dude. Listen, Sammy D's been playing good. The guy's been playing really good. He had 4 touchdowns yesterday, 2 rushing and 2 passing. I mean, oh God. You know, this is an ugly game. I feel like I'm broken records. I feel like I've been saying that for every game, but really this one, I'll take the Panthers -4.
They are at home.
They are at home.
They got a good D. Yeah, I'll take the Panthers as well. Damn
it. Means the Eagles is the pick.
John, you like the Panthers too?
Yeah, there's no way I'm picking the fucking Eagles.
All right, so that's on board for a Moneyball pick. All right, next game, Saints are -1.5 against the Washington football team.
And that, why does it seem like Washington gets all these games at home? You know what I mean? Like they played us again at home the first week. They had the Chargers at home. They had the Saints at home. And when are they gonna have a tough road game? Like it's ridiculous.
Vegas.
That's what they get for winning the division.
Look, I am not buying Washington. I think Washington sucks. They didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. They're not a good team. They're a maybe average team. I think the Saints got a rebound. The Saints seem like to be every other week Jekyll and Hyde. So this is the week that they come back out and they rock. So I'll take the Saints getting a point, right?
They're favored by 1.5.
That's fine. I'll lay the 1.5 to the Washington. I don't care. That's my pick.
Can I say something?
I like that.
I want to put our picks on hold for just one quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Young has done balls all fucking season.
I know.
Balls.
I see that.
Young. Fuck Washington.
Tell you, man. Washington is not a good team.
Their defense is horrible.
Yeah. I was saying going in that, yes, they had a great front seven, but their secondary was weak. And that's been exposed for the whole first 4 months of the season. And like John just mentioned, Chase Young hasn't done anything. That guy's been like ghost for the whole season.
I don't even know if he has a tackle for a loss.
Yeah, I know it's bad. It's bad. You know, the number 2 pick overall. This guy was all his praise, and he was going to be the next guy to smash the league. He ain't doing much this first month of the season. Only makes it stronger for me to pick the Saints.
Giants fans were crying about winning that game in 2019. Crying about how we just gave away our franchise's future by not getting Chase Young. And this guy can't get a fucking sack. Azeez Ojulari is sitting out there looking like who Chase Young is supposed to be. But no problem. No problem. NFL analysts, NFL experts all over the world.
Fuck them.
Tank.
Fuck them. I think that's
on the Saints too, Mike.
I think that's our first Moneyball pick since we made a pretty good argument for them.
Do it.
I guess that means it's Washington's the real pick, right?
Saints Moneyball, man. And I tell you, I kind of like the Rams to be a Moneyball pick too, man. But
we'll hold that. We'll hold that as a possible.
We'll go back. Because I want the Giants Moneyball pick. I know I'm going to say right now. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyway, Steelers are at home Steelers. They're at home -1.5 against the Broncos. Broncos lost Teddy Bridgewater concussion, so doubt he plays next week.
So the Broncos are laying 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, the Steelers bounce back. Give me the Steelers. They're not going to lose at home to Broncos. I'm sorry. If it was in Denver, I might feel differently in this game. But I think the Steelers bounce back. This is when they play that sort of like, they look great one week, then they look terrible for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden they scrape out a win. Denver, like I said, they were 3-0 against 0-9 teams. You know what? I'm not buying it. I'll take the Steelers with the points.
I actually like the Broncos, man. Big Ben's arm looks like that has a concussion the way he's been playing. People want to trade me fantasy like wide receivers from Pittsburgh all of a sudden. I'm like, yeah, I wonder why that is, because he can't throw the ball down the field. But I like the Broncos, so it's up to John.
We gotta go Broncos here, man.
I think
All
Steelers
right,
are
Broncos it is.
entering their rebuild.
Yep, Broncos is. All right. Next game, Tampa Bay is at home. This could be one of my survivor picks if I didn't use Tampa Bay already. They're minus 10.5 against the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh,
A lot of points, but
that's a lot.
That
it's
is
a
a lot.
lot of points. Like, you know, the Bucks have like I don't remember them blowing out anybody this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
They beat New England by 2 points, whatever last night, and you know they lost to the Rams the week before. They beat Dallas by what 6 or 7. You know,
They got no corners. They have no corners, Jules.
Yeah,
They all
well,
dropped
no, they
dead.
got Richard Sherman now, but yeah, I hear you
Yeah.
that.
How old
Which
is
is
it?
ridiculous. And people are saying, oh, because they fit it into a cap. Yeah, I get it. I understand there's a salary cap, and these are for you folks that were out there talking smack on Twitter about that. But it is retarded. What I was saying was, it's just crazy how this Tampa team, oh, they're missing a running back. Oh, Leonard Fournette got cut. Let's just go sign him. Oh, Rob Gronkowski wants to come out of retirement. We already have a tight end. That doesn't matter. Let's sign him. Oh, Antonio Brown, you want to come play? Okay, let's sign him. Oh, we need a corner now because we're getting killed on pass. Oh, Richard Sherman's available. Let's go sign him. Like, how do they do that? It doesn't make sense. It's almost like they're just like picking up players off the street shit. They're like, oh, I need this guy because I'm missing this. Is, you know, this is what my team's hurting, and they can just fill it in. It's fucking, it makes no sense. It's ridiculous. But anyhow, that was just my little rant about that because it's just amazing how this team can go from winning the Super Bowl, and if they're still short something, they could just somehow go out and get a veteran and sign the guy, and the guy's like playing like he was from 5 years ago. But anyhow, with all that said, yeah, Miami's a bad team. The Bucks are supposed to be rolling, but like I said, the Bucks kept it close. I'm very tempted to take the points. I think I'm going to go Miami plus 10.
Wow. I'm on the fence. Sell me, John. What are you doing?
I think it's hard to bet against Tom Brady. At 10 points is a lot of points, but at the end of the day, it really is only a touchdown and a field goal. And do we think that Jacoby Brissett's going to keep up with Tom Brady? I don't know. I think I got to go Tom Brady here.
Oh, man, now I got to decide.
It's on you, Mike.
It's tough because like the Dolphins are one of those teams that could trade for Watson. It seems like the phone calls are starting to pick up. Before started a trade for Deshaun Watson, the quarterback that's just been sitting on the fucking bench doing nothing in Houston. They got to get rid of him sooner than later. But I tell you, another surprise team that could use Deshaun Watson, I'm going to throw it out there, could be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this might be time to move on from Big Ben because he's holding that team back. The rest of the team is solid. So if they could somehow pull a trade off for him, man, I wouldn't be too shocked about that. He's something's got to give with Watson pretty soon. But I tell you, the Dolphins they're just terrible. I don't think they'll be able to keep up with the scoring that Tom Brady's going to do. I just can't. That's too many weapons that Brady has. He's going to throw up a lot of points. That might be their first blowouts. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
All right, Tampa minus 10 is the pick. And I was at fault. They did blow out Atlanta, but Atlanta came back and kept it close, and then they pulled away in the fourth quarter where they took like a 2-touchdown lead. So that was their one game.
Yeah, it was like 28-25 at a point.
Atlanta came all the way back on them, and it turned into a crazy game. That's what I'm trying to say about this team. I don't know about the Bucks this year, man. They could have lost a lot of close ones too. Yeah. But we're gonna go Tampa minus 10. That's the pick.
All right, so next game. This is a weird spread to me. The Patriots are in Houston, and the Patriots are minus 9.5.
Houston's just a lousy team, bro. I think Houston had negative yards in the first half against the Bills this past Sunday. They're that bad, bro. It's like horrible how bad Houston is currently. Look, they did it to themselves with the whole Deshaun Watson thing, and then not having picks, and their first pick was in the third round. So they're a mess. New England's pretty decent. They're better than they were last year, in my opinion. 9 points is a lot, but I just think Houston sucks, man. I'll take the Patriots to lay the 9.5. You said, right?
Yeah, 9.5. I'm kind of agreeing with you after that. Normally I don't go against a team that got blown out the week before. I always take them with the points, but that screwed me up already this year. I forgot which team did that to me. So I'm just going to go with the Patriots minus 9.5.
Let's not forget, I did say I like the Patriots against Tampa. They were getting 7. You overruled me on that pick, just so you know, right? We'll put that one out there with the Pats, all right?
All right. I should have overruled you about Jacksonville. The very first game, I knew it. I wanted Jacksonville to win so bad against Cincinnati last Thursday. I'm like, come on, you could do it. You can knock out like 200 people in the survivor pool. And they had the game. They went for it, a 4th and goal. They could have went up 21-0, and they fucking stopped Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence should have pitched that there. If he would have pitched that ball, he would have scored easily. Robinson would have walked into the end zone. That was his fault there, but whatever.
That's the game. 21-0 right there. As soon as they stopped him, I'm like, here we go. Like, I know they're going to come back.
Yeah, seriously.
John, you like the Patriots, right?
Yeah, it's got to be Patriots.
All right. Next game is the Minnesota Vikings. Are at home. They're 7.5-point favorites against the Lions. Lions roar.
I mean, I thought we were going to see a better Vikings team this past weekend, which
me too.
They ended up losing again. So, I talk all year and I keep calling all these different teams Jekyll and Hyde, but that's exactly what's out there with a bunch of these teams this year, and the Vikings are one of them.
Yeah.
And I know that the Lions play better than what people are saying, and they play better than an 0-4 record and all this kind of nonsense. They're better than the Giants, right? Because I heard that during the week too before Sunday. All right, but no, they're not. They're still the Lions. They still suck. They still don't really have any receivers. All right. And with that said, I think the Vikings bounce back. I think they bounce back at home. I'll take the point. I'll lay the points at 7.5 to the Lions.
Wow. I don't trust them. I like you said, like for the same exact reasons, I'm going to have to go with the Lions on that because they show up, they don't show up. Cousins was having a great year. Then he plays a good defense and you look like shit. So I don't know. It's going to have to be up to John.
Up to John.
I got to go Vikings here, boys.
Vikings it is.
Minnesota. All right. Next game. The Packers are -3.5 in Cincinnati.
Packers are -3.5 in Cincinnati.
That's a weird spread, right?
It's a very weird spread. It is a very weird spread. Oh, God.
The gambler in me wants to just throw everything on the Packers, like everything. But then I'm like, something stupid's going to happen where it's tied up late. I can see a dumb field goal or something, It's fucking.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying there, and I get you. But like, I don't believe Cincinnati's as good as they're playing currently.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense has been a lot better than it's been in the last couple of seasons. That offensive line, I don't know if Mixon's banged up or not. So that's something that's going to come into play, right? If not, they're running with Samaje Perine, or however you say his name. I'm liking the Packers, man. Yeah, I'll take the Packers, give it 3.5.
I'm gonna have to go.
I'm gonna go Packers too, boys.
All right. I wanted the Bengals, so you guys want them the Packers. So Packers it is.
Because it is.
It's just one of those trap games, man. Like I can't do it to myself. I'm going the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I want to take the Packers, but I'm just gonna go the opposite because I hate that fucking spread. It seems so low.
That's only 3.5.
I know it just seems low though, right? It just seems like the Packers should be favored by 7 or something like that.
Well, I mean, listen, the Bengals are still a 3-1 team, right? If I'm not mistaken, they got the extra days of rest and they're at home.
Are they for real?
What that spread is telling me is that if this was in Green Bay would be like -7.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I completed that odds. I think they're almost trying to fake you out of thinking it's a trap game when it's not. I think the Packers will win and they win. I think they win pretty easily too. But I could be wrong. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. Let's see. Raiders are at home. They're -5.5 against the Bears.
Now, I would have loved to have seen tonight's game and see how they play against the Chargers.
Right.
The Bears' defense is a lot better than people giving it credit for. Fields looks like he had a better game than he did week before. But I still think that the Raiders are a better team. And I've been kind of picking them all season. So I'm going to stick with them. I know I got them tonight over the Chargers, so I'll go Raiders all day again. What are they, -4.5? You said
5.5.
5.5. That's fine.
I'll take the Raiders too, but both to be. I just want the Bears to get destroyed for every game they play for the rest of the season. Obvious reasons,
right?
So,
John, were you feeling the Raiders there? Are we moneyballing this?
Yeah, I was gonna go Raiders. It's in the best interest of the Giants, so that's what I got to go with.
Are we gonna moneyball this?
That could be.
I know. I wish we watched tonight's game because watch, they're gonna go home and they lay a leg, and Herbert lights them up like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. But
I mean, we could change it, but I don't know. I think
we'll hold off. So far, only the Saints is our only Moneyball pick so far.
Yeah. All right. So the next game is Chargers and the Browns. Browns are in San Diego and they're -1, or in LA, I should say.
Again, man, I really, really would want to see what happens tonight. God, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers, man. I love that kid Herbert, man. Yeah, I'm a fan, dude. I believe in him, and you know what? The Browns have been good, but they haven't been that great. So I'll what am I getting? I'm laying 1.5 or a point.
You get the point.
I'll take the point for sure.
Yeah, I'll take them too. John, you like the Chargers?
Yeah, I do.
I think that's a money ball pick. It's the Chargers, I think.
All right, let's do it. Until the Raiders blast them tonight.
How Baker Mayfield can't hit Odell.
Oh, you can't even throw to him. I mean, it's like you don't know how to throw a football to Odell Beckham Jr. It's weird.
It was so much fun. I don't know. I didn't watch the game, but someone put like a little compilation together of all these times that Odell burned the defensive back, and Baker just couldn't hit him like at all. It was great.
So all right, next game. Cardinals are at home. They're on fire, man. They're favored by 5.5 over San Fran.
I can't see San Fran losing again. I mean, that would be 3 straight for them, right? Then they just lose this Sunday to Seattle.
Yeah, and Green Bay,
and they lost the week before to Green Bay. So you really think San Francisco's going to lose 3 straight? I think the Cards are playing a little over their heads. You want to give me 5.5 points? I'll take the points all day. I'll go Niners.
Cardinals have been on fire, so I'm going to take the Cardinals.
All right, John.
Mike, I'm with you. Thanks for Cardinals.
Wow, Cardinals it is.
Cardinals it is. Minus 5.5. All right.
Yeah.
All right, next game, the game we all love to hear about. The Cowboys are at home.
About them Cowboys.
They're -7 against the New York Football Giants.
I think we already made this pick, so that's pretty clear. I think we're taking the Giants with the points all day long.
Money ball pick.
Yeah, I guess so. Fuck it.
That's a money ball pick right here. Giants and the Saints so far.
That's it. Giants, Saints, and the Chargers.
Giants went outright.
Yep, Giants, Saints, and Chargers. That's right. All right, so the next game, the Chiefs are at home -2.5 against the Buffalo Bills. Game of the week besides us.
Oh, God. I mean, look, Buffalo look great, but they also have played Miami and Houston. I mean, so those wins don't really count for anything. The Chiefs just don't look right. They're not. They won, but they were struggling a couple of times against. They were losing to Philly at one point. Like they just don't look right. I think I got to go Bills here.
I'm riding.
Yeah, you're going Bills.
I think they get over the hump.
I'm riding with Bills too, man. John, you were going to take
Chiefs? Really? I'm Chiefs all day on this one.
Okay, well, Bills it is. All right.
Yeah. What are they plus? You said plus 1.5?
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah. All right. The last game, the Ravens, the Monday night game. The Ravens are at home -7 against the Colts. Colts just get clocked. They have no luck, man. Even though they beat Miami, but like I tell you, they get hit with the injury. Fucking man, feel terrible for them.
You know what though? Are the Ravens really that good, though? I don't know. You know what I mean? I understand they beat the Chiefs with a last-minute drive. I understand they look good this past Sunday. You know, they struggled against the Lions, if not for a 66-yard field goal. You're laying 7. I think I'll take the points. I'll take the Colts with 7.
I like the Ravens.
God. I break.
Ravens are a good team, man. Like you said, Colts, they're up and down. I just primetime game Monday night. I can see the Ravens running up the score on them.
All right, Ravens it is then. We need one more money ball pick though, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at I'll give you mine. All right. I'll take the Falcons probably on that London game. I would take them because the Jets. I can't bet on the Jets. They stink. I'm in favor of the Titans as well against Jacksonville. And
just wish I knew if AJ Brown and Julio Jones were playing. That's the only reason why I don't want to money ball that.
Yeah. And I'm willing to put the money ball pick on the Packers. I'm willing to change my bet from the Bengals to Packers to do that, but it's up to you guys. What do you guys think?
I guess
I almost want to say the Ravens.
Oh, Ravens, huh? Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. What about the Packers? How do you feel about them?
Packers too. I wouldn't be opposed to a Packers.
All right, so I think the Packers is our last Moneyball pick.
Packers. Packers. Okay.
All right.
All right. Yep.
So
that's good.
Saints, Packers, Chargers, Giants, all Moneyball for the picks. You heard all the picks. We're seeing that this team could be a better team. They should at least be 2-2. And unfortunately, we have to settle for this 1-3 record. Hopefully, we go in Sunday and get up and take care of business in Dallas. That would be huge for the Giants. But that wraps it up. That's another episode of the Big Blue podcast here, Big Blue Offensive, coming to you live on a Monday for a little bit of a change here. Let us know if you like Monday better than Tuesday. Maybe we'll switch things up here and there. One thing is that we do kind of hate missing out on that Monday night game, but main reason why we did it. Hopefully, the Yankees take care of business with this one-game playoff in Boston. Ooh. I heard Bucky Dent's going to be in the crowd. It should be fun tomorrow night. Yeah. So all you Yankee fans out there listening, let's go Yanks. Give them a little love. All right, and hopefully we come back here with another victory Monday next week after we go to Dallas and take care of business. But for now, you know where to follow us at the BBO NYG podcast. All right, myself, Jules NYC1, Mike Trainer MFT, and Slap Parade is John, NYG Slap Parade. But we're out. There's another episode. We'll see you guys next week, man. Peace.
Peace.